My twin sister and I have always tried to outdo each other. Who got better grades in school? Who was dating the hotter guy? And who could wear the sexiest dress without looking like a tramp? But things got out of control in our last year of high school. My sister was super jealous of my boyfriend, Dennis. She would constantly flirt with him and try to steal him away from me. So of course, I hated her to death. And when she offered my boyfriend Dennis to help him with his biology project, I freaked out and physically attacked her. I pulled her hair and tried to bite into her neck, but she was stronger than me and gave me a black eye. You see, my boyfriend Dennis was the perfect guy. He was popular, funny, and his rich parents had bought him a Mustang, so we could drive wherever we wanted. I guess my sister was scared I'd marry Dennis, because she knew she would never find a guy like him. You see, my sister is a very toxic person and only a fool would want to date her. I didn't care if she would end up with a loser boyfriend though. I wished her the worst. But then she did something unspeakable. She got pregnant at 18. My mom freaked out and asked, "Who is the father?" To which she responded, "Dennis is the father of my child. We love each other deeply." I was speechless. And my mom asked, "Are you talking about your sister's boyfriend?" "Yes, he loves me deeply, and I'm sure he's soon gonna break up with my sister." I wasn't sure if she was messing with me or telling the truth. I screamed, "Liar!" But she laughed and whispered into my ear, "Dennis gave me this baby, and we're gonna raise it together." I was petrified and asked Dennis if he slept with my sister. He said no, but told me about this weird night where I had rang his bell at 2 a.m. and asked to sleep in his bed. So it was true. My twin sister had impersonated me to get pregnant by my boyfriend. I was ready to strangle her. How could she do this to me? And what did this mean for my relationship with Dennis? Seeing him raise a kid with my dreadful sister would kill me inside. I went to my mom and told my mom to punish my sister. She responded, "I understand you are mad at her, but right now she is pregnant and needs all the affection and love we can give her." It was frustrating. All I could do was wait for the baby. She turned out to be a beautiful girl, but I still hated her. A DNA test confirmed that she was Dennis's daughter, and whenever I spent time with him, his daughter was with us and getting all the attention. I couldn't help but feel jealous. As if things couldn't get worse, Dennis asked me if I was open for a triangle relationship with my sister, him, and I. I responded, "Not in a million years!" But I grew scared he would break up with me to date my sister. Since they had their baby, they spent a lot of time together and always got along well. It felt like Dennis was falling in love with her, so I did the only reasonable thing and got pregnant too. I thought Dennis would understand, but he didn't. He said, "How could you get pregnant without asking me for permission? I will never trust you again." He was so upset that he took my sister as his second girlfriend. And to make things worse, Dennis seemed to love her more than me. I was murderously angry, and then my sister got pregnant again. I couldn't believe it. Now she had 2 babies with Dennis, while I only had 1. And he wasn't even mad at her for getting pregnant again. He seemed to love her only more. When my baby boy was born, I was very disappointed. I loved him a lot, but Dennis didn't. He spent most of his time with my sister and her daughter. That's why I took something very special from Dennis and went to a fertility center to get 8 of my eggs fertilized. I hoped for twins, maybe even triplets, but nothing was guaranteed. I quickly knew I was pregnant, but I waited 4 months to get an ultrasound. With the image, I ran home and screamed at my sister, "Triplets! I have triplets!" "Liar!" she responded. So I showed her the ultrasound image and said, "Ha! Who's got more babies from Dennis now?" I could tell she was mad. There was no way she would catch up with my 4 babies. But then the unimaginable happened. My sister convinced Dennis that if he didn't leave me, I would get pregnant again. So he came up to me and said, "You've been nothing but toxic the last 2 years. I don't love you anymore, and I'm breaking up with you. I'm sorry, it's over." "What about our children?" "I will take care of them half of the time and my parents will pay you child support. But don't ever contact me again." Wow, my boyfriend chose my sister over me. It broke my heart. But at least his rich parents pay me $1,500 per month for each child. But life was hard. I kept checking my sister's Instagram and seeing her go on vacations with Dennis drove me insane. In my rage, I went back to the fertility center. They still had some of Dennis's seeds left in the freezer, so I got another 8 of my eggs fertilized. And again, after 5 months, I found out I had another set of triplets. I'm not sure why I did it. Maybe I wanted to get revenge on Dennis for leaving me. I still remember going over to his house and saying, "You got me pregnant again with triplets." We haven't touched each other in 10 months. I pretended to be my sister and visited you while she was shopping. BS, you're lying. He smashed the door into my face. But when the babies were born, I did a DNA test and proved Dennis was the father. Of course he was suspicious, and unfortunately his parents started an investigation when they found out about the fertility center. They proceeded to sue me and the clinic. It was the hardest time of my life. Taking care of 7 babies while dealing with a lawsuit was unbearable. I was sure I'd go to prison, but the judge said it was the fertility center's fault. They should have never fertilized my eggs without the consent of the sperm donor. Therefore, the clinic has to pay me $2 million in child support over the next 18 years. Meanwhile, Dennis only has to pay child support for our first child. Unfortunately, he doesn't want to see any of my children. I wonder if I'll find a boyfriend who's willing to help me raise 7 kids.